All right, guys, so we are pretty much done with our back end with the Node.js, Express, MongoDB stuff. Now we're going to start to work on the front end, which is, I would say, the more complicated part. Also, I guess the more interesting part, because you actually have that visual feedback rather than just dealing with, a JSON API. But we have the back end functionality pretty much complete. We may have to edit a couple things here and there, especially if we get some errors and so on. But before we move on to start to integrate React, I just want to take a look at the theme. Now, initially I was going to have us build the theme from scratch, but I didn't want to do too much HTML Bootstrap stuff. I want to keep this course dedicated to basically MERN, MongoDB, React, Express, and Node.js. I don't want to get all into Bootstrap classes and all that. And I know a lot of you guys already know Bootstrap. So what we're going to do in this video is just take a look at the theme. Obviously, a lot of stuff is going to change. We're going to break it apart when we build our React application. With React, we use JSX, where we'll have to change all the class attributes to class names. We'll be creating, for instance, a component for inputs, things like that. So we're going to break it up quite a bit, but let's just look at the actual theme. So in this chapter, you should have a zip folder called dev connector theme, and this is going to be just the HTML, just the Bootstrap version of the theme. There's no React, there's nothing else, it's just HTML and CSS. All right, so let's take a look at the files. I'm going to open it in VS Code. And of course, you can just open the HTML files in your browser, but I'm going to use my live server plugin. So I'll just open, let's say, landing. That's the main landing page. So we'll click on that, and then we'll go open with live server. And there we go. So this is the landing.html page, and this is basically the home page. If someone comes to the application and they're not logged in or anything, they'll see this landing page, okay, with this background image. The images, everything is going to be included in this zip file. All right, so from here you can see that we have a sign up and login. We also have the buttons here. So this is the register.html. Now for the avatar, we're actually going to use Gravatar, which I'm sure many of you have heard of. It's connected to WordPress.com. You can associate an image, a picture, with an email address. Okay, so if they put an email address that is associated with a Gravatar, it'll give them that profile image. If they don't have an avatar or a Gravatar associated with that email, they'll just get like kind of like a placeholder, like the little cartoon person or avatar. Okay, so they'll be able to sign up and then also, of course, log in. And then the developers page will list the different profiles of the developers. And this is going to be public. Anyone can see this. Anyone can see the actual profile as well. So this is what the profile will look like. It'll have the Gravatar, the name, it'll have what their status is, where they work, their location, any social network sites they want to put here, their website, a bio, a skill set. So remember, this is going to be the array of skills, the experience and education. And then if they put a GitHub username, it's actually going to reach out to the GitHub API and grab their latest 5 repositories. Okay, and it's going to show like the stars, the watchers. It'll also be linked. You can link to it as well. So that's basically a profile. All right, now as far as routes that are protected that you have to log in for, I actually have it so if we click on submit on the login, it takes us to the dashboard. And notice the nav bar has changed a little bit. We now have a dashboard link. The Gravatar will actually show right here. We have a logout link and we have a link to the post feed. Now on the dashboard, we can see the credentials. So basically experience and education. And then if we wanted to add an experience, we'll have a form for that. Okay, we have the dates here and stuff. In our React application, if we check off current, this to date, this is going to gray out. It's going to get disabled. Okay, we're going to add that functionality. Let's see, we have add education, which is kind of the same thing. We have edit profile. Okay, so you can see that some stuff is filled in here. We're also going to have it so that the social network link inputs, these won't show unless they click this button here. So they'll be able to toggle this area. All right. Now, once they register, they'll get sent to a page. It'll be the dashboard, but all this stuff won't be here. It's basically going to say you need to create a profile. Okay, and then it'll have a button that says create profile, and it'll take them to this page here. If I go to create-profile.html, it's basically the same as the edit page, except it's a blank form. So they'll have to fill at least the required fields out, which is basically just the handle, the status, and you can add other statuses if you want here. And then skills will also be required, I believe. And then that's it. Those are the required fields, and then they can choose to fill out the rest. Once they do that, then they'll be able to see this. They'll be able to edit. They'll be able to add their experiences and all that. They'll also be able to delete their entire account from here. All right, so that's the dashboard and all the forms where they can add stuff. Then we have the post feed. So basically, they can add a post here. It's just going to be text for now. Like I said, maybe later on we can add to the course and have them be able to upload an image or video or something like that. But once they create a post, it'll look like this. Remember, in our API, we had the name and the avatar also associated with the post. That way, if John Doe deletes his account, this will still be here. Okay, because it might be something helpful that someone maybe wanted to go back to or something like that. We're also going to have like and dislike or unlike functionality. Okay, if they have liked the post, this will actually be colored in. If they unlike it, this will go back to gray, and it'll show the amount of likes. And they won't be able to like it more than once because, as you saw on the back end, we have basically an array of users in our likes array. Okay. Or objects. And then if we click on comments, it'll take us to that post, and then all the comments for that post will be listed, and you'll also be able to add a comment. This should actually say add a comment, but that's fine. We'll change that later. All right, there might be a couple things here and there that we'll change up to as we go along. But those are the basic pages. We have the landing page, the sign-in, login, the dashboard, the create profile, edit profile, add experience, add education, the feed, the comments. Those are the main pages. Okay, and if we look at, let's go back to the HTML here. Basically, every page is going to have the same head. All of these pages. It includes font awesome. Okay, so we're using font awesome 5. We're using the script tag here. We're including Bootstrap 4. Let's see, we have our nav bar. There's basically two versions. There's a signed in version and a regular version. The regular version just has sign up and login and developers. And then a page like dashboard, you can see it's nav bar signed in, which also has the feed and a link to the dashboard, a gravatar, and so on, the logo button. And then everything is broken up into sections. So in the dashboard, we have the entire dashboard, which will be its own React component. We have the actions. This will be its own React component. Experience, education, these will both be their own React component. So we're basically going to break everything up into components. Okay, if we take a look at the profile, this profile header will be its own component. This will be the about, profile about component. This will be the experience and education components, and then the GitHub component. Okay, and that's the beauty of React, is you can break everything up into its own encapsulated component, and we'll be using Redux to basically have a global state for our application and just send that wherever it needs to go. Okay, for instance, the profile header needs to have access to the profile state so it can get things like, you know, the name, the where the person works and their location, links, all that stuff. All right, so if you want to look more into the HTML, you can. It's pretty simple. It's all basic Bootstrap stuff. The only really customization that we did is the landing. We did an overlay here. Actually, we can take a quick look at that. If we open up style, if we go to CSS, style.css, we're just adding a landing page with a background, and then we have an overlay so that the image is kind of faded out a little. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Very basic custom CSS. And then we also have the showcase image as well, in addition to all the pages. All right, so hopefully that kind of explains the UI and what we'll be doing here. As I said, some things may change a little bit, and of course we're going to be breaking everything up into React components. So in the next video, we're going to start to integrate React, because right now we just have a Node API. Okay, or an Express API. So we need to implement Create React App. We also need to kind of connect the two together so that we can run one command to run both servers. All right, so I will see you in the next video.